We already know how the general breeding works. If you don't, I have a video on the basics that you should definitely know before we get into this. So now we're going to figure out how to get mutated stats and colors, as well as how to stack them and get super dinos. First, let's explain the concept of mutations and what they do. Every time you breed a dino, you have a chance to get up to 3 mutations. Your chances of getting a mutation is 7.31%. 2 mutations, your chances drop to 0.184%, and finally we have our odds of getting 3 mutations on one baby, which is near impossible at 0.00156%. Every new mutation will give the dino 2 levels into a random stat. This stat could potentially be movement speed, which will cause the dino to go up by 2 levels without showing a visible stat change, because the mutated levels count as wild levels, and wild dinos cannot level movement speed. The mutated dino will also change one of the 6 color regions to a new color. But not every dino uses every color region, so how does that work? Here we can see a raptor and a dodo's color regions. Let's pretend they both get mutations and they both mutate color region 2. On the dodo, you will see a new color beak, but the raptor doesn't use color region 2, so you won't actually see a new color. Speaking of raptors, that's what we will be breeding. I tamed a few high-level raptors and bred them together to eventually get this male at level 238 that has pretty good stats overall. Now, on most servers, the level cap for dinos is 450. If you have a dino over level 450, it will be deleted on the server automatically. To give us some more breathing room before we hit the level cap, I also tamed a very low-level female raptor to breed this one with. This was so we could lower the unwanted stats, such as food, oxygen, and any wasted points into movement speed. If you have the resources to build an egg incubator, you can see the stats, gender, and any mutations on a baby before you even hatch it. All it requires to run is electricity, and it can be very useful in keeping an eye on new baby stats and colors. After a lot of eggs and breeding, I eventually got the raptors that had all the points we wanted into health, stamina, weight, and damage, but no points into the useless stats such as food, oxygen, and movement speed. These raptors are only level 155, so we have plenty of room to put in extra levels with mutations. Keeping all of these breeder dinos at the same level with the same stats makes breeding for mutations a lot easier. And with the stacking mutations, we're going to want to be using these females forever. Not once will we swap them out. So for stacking, we only want to be mutating males and to replace the current male with the new mutated one. We don't swap out the females so that we can keep the mutations on the ancestry page accurate to the actual amount of mutations. Every time you breed dinos with mutations, the child will have the same exact number of mutations from both parents. If we breed 2 mutated raptors together, the baby will have the mom's combined mutations on the matrilineal side and the dad's combined mutations on the patrilineal side. This can lead to insanely inflated mutation numbers, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the dino is a strong one. It probably just means whoever's breeding them doesn't really know how to stack mutations. After a lot of eggs, we eventually get our first mutated male. Typically, when looking for mutations to stack, it is because you are breeding dinos for bosses or PvP purposes, in which case you would usually only want to mutate health or melee damage. Dinos with mutations into only these stats and pretty much 0 levels into all of the other stats are what are considered super dinos. The mutation we got was health. That's a great mutation. We want to keep this. So we hatch this egg, grow up the baby. I tend not to imprint on dinos that I plan on breeding with in the future, so I can know the exact values of each stat the future offspring could have. I also keep a spreadsheet that you can punch stats into when you tame dinos so that you will always know the breeding stats even after you level them up. I'll link this down below in case you want to make a copy and use it for yourself. So our new mutation is grown up and ready to replace his father and breed with his aunts and mother. Great! We put the old father into a retirement home and we get the new one to work. After some more eggs, we finally get another mutation. We can see it still had the health mutation, but it also got a new mutation into weight. If I were breeding for specifically fighters, I wouldn't want to stack this in to breed with, but I like versatile raptors, so I'm going to go ahead and keep it. Now we replace the current male breeder with the new one and rinse and repeat the process, stacking more and more mutations. Just be sure every time you stack a mutation, the new dino is 2 levels higher than his parent and has all of the previous mutations as well. Eventually we reach our 20th mutation. So far we have 6 health mutations, 5 stamina mutations, 4 weight mutations, and 5 melee damage mutations. But now we run into a bit of a speed bump. Because this dino has a total mutation count of 20 or more, they will not be able to give new mutations to babies. This is why we didn't replace any of the females. All of the females have 0 mutations, meaning they can still birth new mutations. This means our chances of getting mutations are cut in half after the 20th mutation, so get the important ones first. Now we would keep breeding and keep hatching eggs until we get more mutated males that have all of the previous mutations plus a new one. I didn't actually keep going past this point, but I did get an egg with a new mutation to show proof of concept. Sadly, it was a food mutation, so that's not something we would want to keep or stack in with the rest, but it does show that you can still mutate even after the father has reached 20. While stacking up the mutations, I also kept all of the useless mutations that came out with a cool color. If we look at our breeders with mutations, most of them look kind of boring and lame. Our new stronger dinos have to look the part, so that's why I kept the cool colors to breed with after we got the stats. You don't actually have to do this, because of course you already have the stats, but I want my dinos to look as cool as they are strong, so I like to breed in the colors. I picked out some of the colors I really liked from them all and started to breed them together into a single dino. I loved the blue feathers and body from this raptor, but also the green tipped feathers on this pink one. So I bred them together until I got a dino that had the green tipped feathers and the blue body and feathers. Then I grabbed this raptor with the purple scales to put on top of the blue body. Bred them together until I got a dino with all three of the colors. And finally, I wanted to add the green stomach into the mix. So I bred our colorful boy with the one with the green stomach until I had a bunch of raptors who had all of the colors I wanted. It doesn't matter what any of their stats are or how many mutations they have, because we would be breeding them with our new dino from the mutated group. So we grab a dino that was level 195 with all of the stats from the stacked group. We could then breed them with the colorful dinos until we got a dino that had all of the colors we wanted from the colorful group, but all of the stats we wanted from the powerful group. And voila! We have a raptor that has all the colors we want, but comes out to level 195. Of course, if you aren't picky about the colors, you can always skip this last bit. So let's go over the process from beginning to end to sum it all up. First, you're gonna need a group of breeders with one male and at least one female. The more females you have, the easier this will be because you will be getting more eggs. Just be sure they are all the same level with no mutations when you're starting. Then you breed them all together until you get a male that has a mutation that you want. Replace the current male and breed with the new one until you get another mutation along with any previous ones. The new dino should be 2 levels higher than the previous parent. Never replace any of the females with a mutated one. Don't mutate to the point a dino hatches at level 450 or higher because it will be deleted. And this is optional, but keep any cool colors you get regardless of what the mutation is so that you can put multiple exotic colors together into cool looking dinos. It's a lot to take in, but fairly simple once you get it all down. Hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next one. Do you have a name that contains a vowel? Then you should go follow me on Twitch. We have an awesome community that we always invite to play all different kinds of games with us. Good thing I'm a pro. That explains so much. Okay, the only people who watch me are people who are dropped as children. Whether you like Minecraft, ARK, Dead by Daylight, GTA, or Rocket League, we play all different kinds of games, and we always have a great time.
There's nuts.
So feel free to tune into a stream over on Twitch. I could even be live right now. Or join the Discord linked in the description. I want to meet some cool new people and make some new friends. I'll see you there, gamer.
No way, bro.